Welcome to Planet MicroCap. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and joining me right now is Brett Richards. He's the president and CEO of Goldshore Resources. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, GSHR on the TSX Venture and GSHRF on the OTCQB. And Goldshore Resources will be presenting at the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek, happening September 13th through 16th, 2022. For more information, please go to precioussummit.com. And with that, Brett, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
Good, Robert. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's great to have you. So this is our first time doing an interview together. So can you provide us that quick overview and history of the company?
Sure. Goldshore is I'll say a fairly new company. It's only about a year old. We did a transaction in 2021 to acquire the Moss Lake Gold Project from Wesdome Gold Mines. And that transaction culminated and closed on May 31st last year, and we opened for trading, listed for trading on June the 4th. So we've just been around for about a year. In that time, there's been lots of activity and lots of work. We acquired a historic resource, and there's a 1.5 million ounce indicated resource and a 2.5 million ounce inferred resource. And I encourage listeners and viewers to look to our website for both disclaimers and more detailed information on that historic resource. But we have raised we raised 25 million on the RTO back in June of last year, and subsequent to that, we've raised another $20 million, all going towards the development of the Moss Lake project to really kind of understand the area, the region, the historic resource, understanding it all, and then coming up with a strategy as to how we're going to advance this and develop this towards other decisions down the road.
Very good. And what would you say makes Goldshore unique and different compared to your peers out there?
I think a couple of things. First of all, we have a very large land package, and we're already starting with a lot of data, and that data refers back to the historic resource. And from there, I think, our job now is to, use that as the template and expand upon the geological footprint, and come up with a resource estimation once we're done our program. And we've embarked on a very aggressive program, 100,000 meter program. So sometime leading up to 100,000 meters, we'll start that estimation process near the end of it. But the second key thing, and it's really, really important to me as a mining executive and a mining entrepreneur, is when I see projects up in remote areas that have, that have the only power generation they're going to see in this generation is going to be diesel fuel, and possibly a hybrid between diesel and solar. Those options can be quite constraining, both in CapEx and in OpEx for a project. But we don't have that issue. We are on the Trans-Canada Highway. We have 10, 11 cent kilowatt hour power on our doorstep that runs right through our land. We have access to a 4-lane, the Trans-Canada Highway, Yonge Street, Highway 11. And we are 120 kilometers away from international port. We are 120 kilometers away from the U.S. border. We're 100 kilometers away from Thunder Bay, where we have access to people and contractors and consultants and equipment and you name it. So when I talk about project doability, it's about the infrastructure required to build a big district scale size mining camp, and we tick those boxes. So there's one piece on the side where we have to develop the resource and understand the resource. The second piece of it is what do we do with it once we have it, and how do we progress that towards something that's meaningful towards production decisions and those types of decisions down the road. And there are a lot of the questions already answered and or risk mitigated as a result of where we are.
Very good. And Brett, what was your background prior to Goldshore?
Yeah, I've been in the mining and metals space for about 36 years now. And, I've run a number of listed companies in Canada and in the UK. I've worked globally. I've worked in about 30 countries. The last 8 or 9 years, I've been working in Africa on a number of projects for private equity firms. who I've partnered with. So I have a pretty big following from my days of running companies like Avocet and Rocks Gold and Midnight Sun. And I was one of the founders of Katanga Mining, which is one of the largest copper and cobalt operations in Africa. And so I came back to a project in Canada because I saw the opportunity. The opportunity is about size and scale and geopolitical risk, and what I talked about earlier about infrastructure. So it's what attracted me to this project as an investor, but also attracted me to this project as as the CEO. And one of my compatriots who is with me, our VP of Exploration, Pete Flindell, he has been with me for about 15 years on a number of these projects I've been working on globally, and he's been working on globally. And he is a very well-renowned geologist in the space in our small little mining community around the world. And Pete is extremely excited about this geologically. So for me, it ticked a lot of boxes to make this migration back to running listed company again.
Very good. And to close this out here, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now for the rest of 2022 going into 2023?
I think because of the size and scale of our program, you're going to see a lot of news flow. And I think those are the catalysts that drive the retail market. They drive your traditional kind of junior mining space. It's all about the results. Everybody wants to know what's coming, and they try and anticipate it before it does come. But it is those value drivers, I think, are going to be very important, because we'll slowly start to give the market and the public a view, and they'll take a view as to kind of what the resource estimation will be when we go to do it, and they'll take a view of kind of where to from here as we look to doing a PEA down the road, because there is a historic PEA done on the historic resource. And for us, I think we really need to do our own estimation and our own PEA based on kind of a new strategy. Things change with time. So, this is potentially a very, very big asset, and I think we would see normally this would be $1 billion project or more. But maybe we do a phase one project. Maybe we try and bring this down to something more, $200 or $300 million phase one, and look to do a phase two or a phase three, simply because the environment we're living in right now, the economic environment, is really not that conducive to these big $1 billion projects. So let's maybe there's optionality where we can provide the market with something that brings us into cash flow as soon as possible, but scales up down the road. We have the resource for that. We certainly have the infrastructure for that, or we'll have the resource for that. A lot of questions still to be answered, but the ones we're getting right now are all very positive.
Very good. Well, Brett, thank you so much. Where can our audience go and find more information on Goldshore Resources?
You can find it on our website, www.goldshoreresources.com. And I'm very accessible. You'll find my contact details on our website. I like to talk to investors. I like to talk to potential investors and give them our view of what we see.
Very good. Well, Brett, thank you again for joining me today. Really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Thanks, Robert. Take care.
Thank you. And again, Goldshore Resources will be presenting at the upcoming Precious Metal Summit, Beaver Creek, happening September 13th through 16th, 2022. For more information, please go to precioussummit.com.